Let's explore with Animal Prime. There's a stillness you feel when grooming a horse, a kind of ancient calm that settles into the air. Dust rises in soft gold clouds. Muscles roll beneath your fingertips like quiet waves. A horse can stand statuesque, peaceful, almost meditative, until the moment everything changes. The skin along the belly twitches, the ear pivots sharply, and then the hind leg lifts, fast, precise, and utterly instinctive. It's a moment that makes millions of viewers search for answers every month. Why horses kick during grooming. Today, we're diving into the hidden reflex behind this powerful movement and uncovering the truth behind horse body language explained, from the first subtle sign to the final survival response. Before we go deeper, remember this. Horses are not aggressive animals. Their reactions are shaped by survival. Their instincts were sculpted long before humans ever placed a brush on their skin. Understanding those instincts is the foundation of horse grooming safety, and it's the reason this documentary exists. Everything you see here is for educational purposes only. Never attempt unsafe handling, never provoke or test a reaction, and always work with trained professionals when learning to read horse behavior signs. When you stand beside a horse, you're standing beside one of the most visually acute prey animals on Earth. Their eyes, set wide apart, allow them to see a near panoramic 340-degree field of view. But tucked inside that panoramic vision is a vulnerability most people underestimate. Two blind spots, one directly in front of the face, and one far more dangerous during grooming is directly behind the tail. According to behavioral studies from the University of Kentucky's Equine Science Review, this blind spot spans roughly 5 to 10 degrees, just wide enough for a threat to slip in unseen. And when something touches a horse in the blind spot, the brain reacts the same way it would to a predator's ambush. No hesitation, no analysis. The reaction is automatic, and that's why horses kick. You'll hear the question everywhere online. Why horses kick? And often the explanations are oversimplified. The horse was in a bad mood. It didn't want to be touched. But that's not what science shows. Most grooming-related kicks aren't emotional. They're neurological. When a hand, brush, or unexpected touch enters the blind spot, the horse's nervous system interprets it as danger. This instinctive response is part of the powerful reflex system that horse body language explained videos often try to highlight, but rarely capture in its full complexity. Picture this moment in cinematic detail. You brush along the back and the horse exhales. You move down the hindquarters, keeping the rhythm steady. But as you step a little too close behind, the horse's tail flicks, one of the earliest horse behavior signs that people often miss. The skin tightens, the weight shifts, then the hind leg lifts in one smooth defensive arc. To the horse, that wasn't a kick meant to injure. It was a warning, a reflex, a message. I didn't know you were there. This is why experienced handlers never approach silently. They speak. They keep a hand on the horse's body. They move around the hindquarters in a wide arc rather than stepping directly behind. These simple habits, spoken reassurances, gentle contact, deliberate movement, are the pillars of horse grooming safety. They prevent surprises. They keep the horse informed. And they give the nervous system time to interpret you as a friend, not a threat. But there is another reason why horses kick during grooming, one hidden beneath the skin. If you've ever brushed a horse's belly or flank and felt the skin quiver beneath your hand, you've witnessed one of the most sensitive zones in the entire animal kingdom. Research published in the Journal of Equine Veterinary Science shows that the belly, girth line, and flank area contain dramatically higher densities of mechanoreceptors, the nerve endings responsible for detecting pressure, touch, and movement. Evolution designed these receptors so horses could sense insects crawling across their skin or predators brushing against their sides. A single fly can trigger a full-body skin twitch. Now compare the weight of that fly to the pressure of a grooming brush. When a brush presses too firmly against the flank, the sensation can swing from normal to overwhelming in an instant. What humans perceive as routine grooming can feel to the horse like an intense spark of stimulation, one that ignites a deeply rooted survival reflex. This is where horse flank sensitivity becomes essential to understand. It explains why skin twitching, tail swishing, and hind leg shifting occur long before a kick. These movements aren't coincidences. They are the first chapter of the reflex, the early warning signals that appear in nearly every video tagged with horse body language explained or horse groomer kicked. Imagine watching the scene in slow motion. The brush slides across the belly, the horse's ears turn backward, not pinned, just tracking your position. The skin tightens along the flank. Then the leg rises, slow at first, then faster. A natural chain reaction, not an act of anger. This moment is the heart of why horses kick, and it is also the moment where humans have the greatest power to keep things safe. Understanding the early horse behavior signs, the twitch, the tail, the shift, allows you to step back before the reflex escalates. It transforms grooming from a risky chore into a respectful conversation. And that conversation matters more than most people realize. Grooming isn't just physical care. It shapes trust. A horse that knows you read its signs becomes calmer, safer, and more willing to relax under your touch. Responsible ownership isn't about controlling the horse. It's about listening before the body speaks in a way you cannot ignore. And as we move further into this story, we'll uncover the deeper layers of this reflex, how past discomfort, herd instincts, and sensory overload shape the kick you never expect. Stay with us because the next reason behind why horses kick during grooming is one of the most misunderstood of all, and it reveals just how emotional, intuitive, and intelligent horses truly are. If the first part of this journey showed us how blind spots and hypersensitivity shape why horses kick during grooming, the second layer takes us into something far more intricate. The memories horses carry in their bodies, the social boundaries they inherited from living in herds, and the fragile sensory system that responds instantly to pressure. This is the part of the story where emotion and instinct overlap, and where horse body language explained becomes more than a science lesson. It becomes a window into the horse's lived experience. You may have seen this moment many times without realizing what it reveals. You're brushing a horse's back, everything looks calm, and then suddenly the muscles tighten beneath your hand. The horse exhales sharply, the eye flicks backward for a split second. A small shift in weight, the flank firms. The hind leg rises slowly at first, then with a sharper intention. This is the hidden world of somatic memory, one of the biggest keys to understanding why horses kick, and one of the most essential pieces of horse grooming safety. Researchers writing in the Equine Veterinary Journal discovered that horses store sensory memories in their muscles and fascia. If a particular area has ever been hurt, a sore under an old saddle, a strained muscle, an insect bite, or pressure from ill-fitting equipment, the horse's nervous system marks that spot as vulnerable. Even years later, a brush stroke across that region can activate protective reflexes faster than the horse can consciously interpret the sensation. This means that horse behavior signs like tightening muscles, tail swishing, or a leg lifting are not acts of defiance. They are echoes of past discomfort. Imagine touching a bruise you forgot you had. Your body flinches before you think. That is exactly how somatic memory works in horses. And it's one of the most overlooked factors people miss when searching for answers to why horses kick during grooming. This reflex has nothing to do with attitude. It has everything to do with self-preservation. This is why responsible ownership is never about forcing a horse to stand still during grooming. It's about recognizing the layered history beneath their skin. When you see the earliest horse behavior signs, the eye flick, the breathing change, the fleeting tension beneath your fingers, you respond with understanding, not punishment. Because the truth is simple and scientifically proven. Horses are not aggressive animals. Their kicks are defensive reflexes shaped by evolution, not expressions of malice. But memory isn't the only force guiding this reflex. To truly understand why horses kick, you must look at how horses communicate with each other in the herd. Horses are social animals who rely on spacing and body distance to maintain harmony. In the wild, one horse may give a gentle kick, not to injure, but to create space. It's their equivalent of saying, "You're too close." Studies from the Journal of Equine Behavior show that over 70% of kicks in herds are Distance establishing motions, not attacks. This makes their meaning essential when talking about horse body language explained. During grooming, humans unintentionally violate that space bubble. If you stand too close to the hindquarters or block the horse from stepping away, the horse's brain interprets your position the same way it interprets a pushy herd mate. It warns you first, shifting weight, swinging the hip, flicking the tail. But if those early warnings go unnoticed, the reflex escalates to what humans see as a kick. Yet in the horse's mind, this is simply communication. This is the same body language you would see in slow-motion herd videos, the same patterns that appear in every scientific breakdown of horse behavior signs. The groundwork of why horses kick during grooming. This is why horse grooming safety depends on giving the horse room to breathe and move. A responsible handler never traps a horse in a corner. They don't press their body tightly against the hindquarters. They keep a hand on the horse's back to signal their presence and speak softly so the horse can track their movement. They read the tail, the ears, the breath, because these early cues are priceless insights into the horse's emotional state. And then there is the sensory overload reflex, one of the most misunderstood triggers behind why horses kick. Grooming, when done correctly, can be calming and bonding. But when the pressure is too firm, the brush too stiff, or the movement too repetitive, the nervous system can misinterpret the sensation as overwhelming. Scientists studying equine sensory responsiveness describe the flank and belly region as neurologically amplified. The same sensitivity that allows horses to feel a single fly landing on their skin is the same sensitivity that can turn grooming into overstimulation. Watch a slow-motion grooming clip, and you'll see the sequence unfold like a reflex chain. A firm circular motion near the belly triggers a skin twitch. The horse's ears swivel back, not pinned, just tracking. The breathing shifts from regular to shallow, and before the human realizes what's happening, the hind leg lifts. The horse is not trying to hurt anyone. It's trying to relieve an overload of sensation. The nervous system is saying, "That's too intense." This reflex is a cornerstone of horse flank sensitivity, and understanding it is essential to mastering horse body language. For responsible owners and handlers, this means adjusting your technique. It means starting with lighter pressure, observing for early horse behavior signs, switching brushes slowly, and pausing every few seconds to let the horse reset. True horse grooming safety is not about controlling the horse. It's about respecting how their nervous system works. And this is where everything we've learned so far converges. Why horses kick during grooming is not a single answer. It is a symphony of instinct, memory, sensory input, and herd communication. Every kick has meaning, every reaction has a root, and every early sign is a message the horse hopes you'll listen to before the reflex goes further. Before we move into the final chapter, take a moment to reflect. Which of these reflexes do you think is misunderstood the most? Comment your guess below. Your insight might help someone stay safer around horses. Stay with us because the next part reveals the emotional reflex beneath it all, the anxiety-driven kick that shapes trust, fear, and the bond between horses and humans. And this next discovery may change the way you groom forever. By now, we've uncovered how blind spots, somatic memory, social spacing, and sensory overload shape why horses kick during grooming. But there is still one more layer, one that we must explore with empathy and patience. It's the emotional reflex, the anxiety-driven response that rises not from touch or pressure, but from uncertainty. When we talk about horse body language explained, this is the chapter that brings it all together. Because a horse's emotional world is powerful, fragile, and much easier to misinterpret than most people realize. Picture a horse standing in the grooming area, head slightly raised, eyes scanning the room. Nothing is wrong, but nothing is calm either. The ears flick in rapid rotations, not locked back, just trying to track every sound. The breath is shallow, the ribs expanding in quick intervals. These are some of the earliest horse behavior signs of anxiety. To the untrained eye, the horse looks restless. To a handler who understands horse grooming safety, these are red flags. Anxiety in horses isn't dramatic. It's quiet, subtle, and often mistaken for impatience. But what makes anxiety such an important part of why horses kick is the way it reshapes the horse's entire sensory landscape. When cortisol rises, when the nervous system is on high alert, even a gentle brush can trigger a defensive reflex. Scientific studies from the 2019 Equine Stress Response Review found that a horse groomed by an unfamiliar person showed a cortisol increase of 18 to 25% during the first 3 minutes. That increase makes the horse more sensitive to touch, sound, and movement. It amplifies horse flank sensitivity, heightens vigilance around the blind spot, and accelerates the transition from uncertainty to reflexive motion. This means that even if the brushing technique is perfect, even if the pressure is light and the tools are soft, an anxious horse still reacts differently. And more importantly, the kick does not come from aggression. It comes from fear. Horses are not aggressive animals. They are prey animals whose bodies speak through movement, not through words. And when fear and touch collide, the nervous system wins. You can see this emotional reflex play out in slow motion if you know where to look. A horse that raises its head during grooming is trying to increase its visual range. A horse that tenses the muscles along the flank is preparing for an escape response. A horse that lifts a leg softly is asking for space long before the reflex becomes a full kick. In every one of these moments, the horse is communicating, asking for reassurance, for space, for patience. This is the heart of horse body language explained. And this is why horse grooming safety must include emotional awareness, not just physical technique. If the horse is anxious, no tool, no brush, no method will stop the reflex. Only trust can. Trust begins with your presence. Horses are extraordinarily perceptive, capable of reading human posture, tone, breath, and intention. When you move slowly, keep your breathing steady, speak softly, and touch gently. The horse's nervous system mirrors your state. This is why experienced handlers seem to calm horses without effort. They regulate themselves first so the horse can regulate too. Trust deepens with consistency. When you always approach the same way, announce yourself with your voice, keep a hand on the horse's shoulder, and avoid surprising the hindquarters. The horse learns that your touch is safe. This is how you rewrite somatic memory. This is how you reduce anxiety. This is how you prevent the reflexes behind why horses kick during grooming. But responsible ownership doesn't end with trust building. It also means recognizing when something is physically wrong. Some of the most misunderstood grooming kicks come from hidden pain: hock arthritis, girthiness, infections, skin inflammations, or even gastric ulcers. According to the AAEP pain matrix, pain-related grooming kicks are among the most underdiagnosed issues in equine care. A horse that kicks during grooming may not be resisting. It may be telling you it hurts. You'll see the signs if you pay attention. The horse that turns its head sharply toward you each time you touch a specific spot. The horse lifts the same leg repeatedly as if guarding an invisible wound. The horse whose breathing shortens when the brush moves across the ribs. These horse behavior signs are not random quirks. They are diagnostic clues. And they are part of the reason understanding horse body language is essential for the safety of both horse and human. This is also why every educational resource on horses emphasizes this core truth. Always consult a veterinarian or a certified trainer when a horse's grooming reactions change suddenly. A kick is a symptom, not a personality trait, and addressing it begins not with discipline, but with empathy and investigation. And so we return to the question hundreds of thousands of viewers type into search bars every month. Why do horses kick during grooming? After exploring every layer, instinct, memory, sensory overload, social cues, and emotional reflexes, the answer becomes beautifully clear. Horses kick for the same reason they breathe, flee, or twitch their skin: to protect themselves. Their bodies speak long before they intend harm. And when we understand that language, everything changes. We begin to see the early signals instead of waiting for the reflex. We learn how to prevent overstimulation, how to move safely around the blind spot, and how to honor sensitivities around the flank. We learn that horse grooming safety is a conversation, not a correction. We learned that the goal of grooming is not perfect compliance, it is connection, and with that understanding comes something deeper. Respect. Respect for the horse's history, its instincts, its sensitivity, its emotional world. Respect for the animal that has carried humans for thousands of years, not by force, but by choice. This is the heart of responsible ownership. And this is what turns grooming from a risk into a relationship. Before we close this documentary, I want to ask you something. Now that you've learned the layered truth behind why horses kick, which reflex surprised you the most? Was it the sensitivity of the flank, the power of somatic memory, the social spacing reflex, or the emotional kick driven by anxiety? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your insight may help another horse owner stay safe, calm, and confident. And if you found this documentary meaningful, don't forget to subscribe. There is so much more to explore in the world of animal behavior. So many secrets hiding in plain sight, waiting to be understood. Thank you for watching Animal Prime, where understanding animals is the first step to protecting them.